What's going on, RuneScape.com? It is your boy Ojama Garrett's here with another tier list. Today's tier list, we're going to be talking about the most commonly traded items. Now, how we compiled that list is we're going to go to prices.runescape.wiki, and we're going to look at the items with the highest daily volume. And as you can see here, we're just going to grab this entire list, blah, 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 copy it over. Now we have our list. So before we hop into this list, if you guys give me the HBO special, I'll help your brother out. Comment, like, and subscribe. Check out the links down below if you're interested in those types of products, just products in general, whatever. RuneScape products. That'd be really cool. So let's just hop into it. So the criteria, I'm going to try to explain where these rank is going to be from a perspective of like all things possible. So what that means is that H&S is here. If we were talking about the context of just one account, member account, in that vacuum, that context, that nuance, it would be an S tier item because it is a money printing machine. Because as we can go here, we go over to our flipping tool and we can look at it. As you can see, it is selling for 10, buying for 11, which essentially means whatever. Bottom number you're buying it for, top number you're selling it for. That's pretty much how you read these line charts, okay? So this is just, it's been consistent here last 12 hours. If we zoom that out to a day, it's been consistent. 1 week, it's been consistent. 1 month, it's been consistent. 3 months, we're going to see a little bit of variation because it's going to fluctuate based on quarterly cycles, essentially. That's how RuneScape works, depending on like player influxes, all these different types of whatever. There's things that cause this large swab. It's going to take large swabs of people coming into the game or leaving the game to influence prices at this type of volume. So it's just a bunch of nonsense to say that this is just a super stable item and it's going to get you a stable profit every single day. Though it's going to be smaller than if you were to go for a higher risk item. Less profit, more consistent, so you're more guaranteed. That means less effort into purchasing the item. So like I said, this would be an S tier item in the membership. Like if you're only one member, but in the entire scope of RuneScape, what's possible, what's allowed technically within the rules of RuneScape, it is an A tier because we are not accounting for the free-to-play markets. Now, normally you'd say, well, the free-to-play markets have more competition, and that is true, but there is nothing gating you except for time, labor, to making an infinite number of free-to-play accounts, which now adds this entire new elements to trading, especially in this item pool's context. So that kind of puts all of the membership items at a disadvantage because for me, for instance, I'll just use myself as an example. I have 782 accounts, only 3 of them are members. So which one do you think is going to make more money between these two items, between those 779 accounts versus my 3 accounts that are members? It's going to be Air Runes 10 out of 10 times because 779 accounts, roughly about 30k units per day, is going to be a lot of units versus the 50k that I'll make here. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about all this. I just wanted to like give you the big lens to view this entire list through. That's just the reality of things. So Air Runes, then I'm going to move up into S tier because I've traded at least 1 billion for profit, 1 billion runes, LE runes. So that's earth, fire, water, and air runes. And I can definitively put all of these items up here into the S tier in this order. Fire runes, I've traded at least 2 very, very bottom minimum I've traded was 2 billion over the past couple of years. It's more likely, or a few years, it's more likely in the 5 billion range, but I just don't have the numbers off the top of my head. So just there's a little bit of discrepancy there based on my memory because, once you get to such a high scale, you're not really tracking whatever. You're just kind of logging in like your job and just doing it and just like, oh, money go up. That's kind of how I feel now. Like, I don't even like tracking the numbers. I just like, I make the work the goal. I don't like follow the result. I try not to follow the result for the reward center in my brain. I try to like, yeah, that's how I scope things out. But anyway, whoosh. Anyway, so fire runes are the best. They are sold at the highest volume. You will get the most sales at fire. You will get the second most sales at air runes. You'll get the third most sales at water. These are kind of really close though. So sometimes it's like this. Sometimes it's like this. It's never like this though. Fire rune just never drops to whatever. Earth runes, they buy really easily. Sometimes they're a lot harder to sell. So like close cycle on the Great Exchange, all of these items do just fine. If you're playing on one member's account, I would not just go for LE runes. Well, I would if you've never traded before. I would just kind of throw all 5 of these in there. I would buy these at the low prices and sell them at the high prices. And again, how you'd figure that out is you go get yourself a tool. and then look up. Oops, sorry. It's my dashboard. I haven't re-imported my accounts yet, but you would come here and go, okay, here's the buy price, here's the sell price. You know, you check the chart, bang, 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 bang. You know, look here, 10, 11, whatever. It is low price is 5 to 6, but sometimes we're going 6 to 7. So this is kind of a volatile position right now. Air runes, you know, they're 5 and they're going for 6. So I would buy that at that price. This is kind of swinging between those two prices, so it's not the best to grab right now. And earth runes are swinging between 5 and 6, which this is kind of rare. This doesn't happen a lot. Earth runes are usually the last ones to uptick into a new price point, but whatever. But that's how you do it. You just look at it right now. And all the LA runes right now are a little bit of a volatile state, so they're a little bit more annoying to get into right now. You're going to see a lot less sales. Ouch. Maybe I can re-release a new guide there or whatever if you come into the Discord down below. You need some flipping tips or anything like that, or any explanations, explain further, just come on down to the Discord. Everybody's chatting in there. You know, we got like 10 people who are pretty active, and I'm always active in there because I'm kind of a no-lifer. I'm always on the computer. I'm always thinking about this shit. I'm always talking about this shit. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on. Blood runes. I want to say they're B tier just compared to the rest of this, but I've been coming around on stuff like blood runes. Again, none of these are bad. This is kind of like a tough list. So when I'm saying like S tier here, A tier, you know, it should be in the scope of like what's in the list here. But I'm just kind of just compare these to the rest of the market. These are just really good items to get into. All of them are really good. It's going to be hard for me to say any of these bad because my entire investment strategy on RuneScape is consistent, no-brainer flips, and every single one of these items are either no-brainer or little-brainer flips. So let me teach you how to flip blood and death runes real quick. Like these types of items here. Chaos runes, I'm going to put S tier for sure. Ahead of Earth right here because those are pretty good. But anyway, I'm going to teach you quickly how to flip stuff like blood runes and death runes, nature runes, soul runes, this type of stuff. So we're going to head over to our tool again. We're going to pick blood rune, for instance, here. And we're going to look at the chart. Okay, so we're on 12 hours right now, but we can go to 1 day. That's usually what I like to do, 1 day. For making a pick, if you're checking daily, check a day. If you're going to only log on for a week, check the week. If you're only going to log on for a month, check the month. Okay, so there's the main trading. This turned into a video I wasn't expecting, so bear with me as I try to like navigate this through my mind. So say you're a day trader, you're getting on RuneScape every single day, you just want to collect simple profits. You're going to look at this chart and you're going to go, what is the low points? How much money am I investing? Say if it's like 15 million, let's just do 15 million per slot, which I suggest you do. So if you have 120 mil bank, just to keep it simple, I would just divide that by 8, and then this is how much money I'm going to invest per slot. Okay. So now we have 15 million here. So we'll take the price here. We'll find like a low price. You're going to look at the chart, look at the bottom prices over the past day. So say it's 200 here. Here it's 203. Here it is 202. How many times does it hit 200? The volume here is 200, and there was 364,000 sold in this 5-minute period. And there's 2 points here where there was at least close to 1 million. So if I have 15 million divided by 200, whoopsies, my bad. 15 million divided by 200. We're gonna go for 75,000 blood runes. So that means we can look for 202, 375, 313,000. There's a high chance that we'll be able to capture what we're looking for 15 million investment. So it's not out of the range of possibility that you'd be able to capture at that small point. If you have a lot more money, for instance, like let's just say 150 million for the slot, or what's the buy limit? I think it's 30K, 25K. So 25K, times 6. You can purchase at most 150,000 a day per one account. So it isn't that unreasonable to go for 200 here because we're looking at the bottom prices and expect to be able to get close to 150,000 per day at that price point. So now, whoopsies. That's what we're going to go for a buy price is 200. We're going to guess here because we saw that at multiple times in one 24-hour period. So 200 is what we're going for. Now we need to find the high price. That's what see how many units that is. 75,000 units. So So 75,000 units. We're going to look here. We're going to look at the very tippy top here. 244,000 sold at 215, or at least about half of 244,000 sold at 215. Okay, sorry. So when you look at volume, you're kind of just in your brain splitting it in half. There's other metrics that you need to take into account, but I'm just trying to keep this simple. So then the second part of it, you know, we saw 217 here. We saw 215. The safe price is 207, yada, yada, yada. But you want to try to just kind of pick the highest price and just kind of YOLO chuck it in if you're going to do a day trade. If you're going to do two checks a day, then 24 hours is good. If you're only going to do one check a day, 24 hours is still fine. If you're going to check multiple times a day, use the 12-hour, whatever. I digress, sorry. So now we have a 215 here is a high probability that it will happen. 214 is a higher probability because if we saw 215, 217, 217, 215, you know, 394,000, 261,000, 242,000, 278,000, you know what I'm saying? It's starting to add up to a lot of probabilities that we'll be able to see those price points. So 214 is going to be more possible than 215. 217 is the least possible, but it's still possible. But as you come down 1 GP at a time, it increases the probability. But when you're first starting, you're just trying to build your intuition up. So then you are just going to chuck it in there YOLO and just try to go for 217 and hope the market doesn't crash on you for the next 24 hours, right? So now 217, let's say 215 times 0.02 is going to be a 4 GP. I think it rounds down. It's going to be a 4 GP margin. So 211 take away 200 times 11, or 11 is going to be our profit times 75. So you're going to make, you potentially with 15 mil could make 825,000 on the top end for profit using this method. Okay, that's what you're looking for. But just like have the expectation that you'll probably get like half, sometimes even a quarter, but anything going up is going to be better than anything going down. That's why I said before, don't try to focus on whatever, but that's how you make a pick. Okay, that's how you do it. That's how you use a chart really quickly, hopefully, to make a pick. So blood runes and death runes have been coming around a lot because of that. It's been pretty, I've been doing pretty good. I started like going back into members trading because I'm compiling raw footage to do a bunch of flipping shorts and stuff like that. And I've been doing really well with blood runes. I've been doing really well with death runes. I've been doing really, really well with stuff like that. I used to not like them because you have to think about it a little bit, but it doesn't take that much thinking. And it's really good to just get into the game and build your intuition up. A lot of this, like what flipping turns into over a long period of time, is just simply intuition. Is this near an all-time low? How many times has this item burned me before? How often does the margins run away from me? Or is it consistent turnover with a profitable up scale, like a profitable bank growth at the end of every single trade cycle? So that's essentially what you're going to be trying to build. So not bad items. Not bad items. I'm going to drop them down to B because they're not bad, but Ancient Essence is a no-brainer, which will give you a pretty decent, it's a no-brainer with a consistent money growth schedule. I don't know how to say it other than that, sorry. Feathers is going to be C tier because, yes, you could scale up FTP, but like whatever. This is one of those items that has like a deceptive margin. Let's go back to here. It says 3.2 here. As you can see, like when you see straight bars like this, that means like, I don't know how to explain this. There should be something here. I don't have that filter up. In my experience, all I'm going to say is that most of the sales for feathers happen at 3. They do not happen at 2. That is very, very much, sometimes you get some trades, but most of the time, and most of my traders, I do not get a lot of volume for the feathers because when I'm dictating like whether an account is worth it or not, I'd like to get 20 to 30K units a day per free-to-play account. That's just what I like to go for. And with feathers, you don't see that a lot. So that's just my experience. There's other people that seem to do a lot better with it, but in my experience, it's been kind of doo-doo hot water. Mind runes, I'm going to put it at A tier. I'm not going to make them S tier because for a while I was making a shit ton of money on them, but recently they just crashed from 3.4 down to 2.3, and it's kind of irritated the heck out of me. Out of nowhere, not out of nowhere. I mean, like they crashed on me because I took 2 weeks off, and now I had to refactor everybody. And now they're 2.3 when they were 3.4, and I was making a lot of money, and I wasted a lot of time refactoring, resetting traders from, I think it was like 280 traders from 3.4 to 3.2 is really annoying when most of my stock I got at 3, so I have to like waste a week selling it all back to the whatever, and then I have to waste another week rebuying. It's just really annoying. So that kind of dropped it down to do an A tier, but before then I was making a shit ton of money. But it's still a decent item to get. Yet though I have not checked the 2-3 rate for a while here. It might be one of those feather situations where most of the sales are happening at 3 and not at 2. So it might be a feather situation, but I still have to wait on data to come in from those hundreds of accounts, so then we can talk about that later. But just, it's a decent item to make money on for free-to-play accounts. Nature Runes, same thing here. They're pretty good. Not too much to say. Soul Runes, I've actually put into A tier. I actually have been buying them recently for like 420. I just got them for, and I've been selling them for like 440. So that's been pretty decent. What is that? 440 times 0.2 is an 8. Yeah, a 9 GP tax, so that is a 32 GP profit. I don't remember how many I'm buying, so whatever, 15 million. Oh, 15 million is the 75K. No, it's not going to be, so 440. So 34,000 times 32. Yeah, so it's about a mil, 500K to a mil a day I've been making on Soul Runes, so I do like them a lot, like right now. So yeah, Zora scales, they're high volume. They're kind of like a quick profit item though. They're not like super good. And then Cannonballs, I want to say I was very bullish on Cannonballs because of the scaling update, but now I'm not as much anymore because I don't know, everything's crashing. It's still very highly speculative. I think it's still a good item to buy and hold and waiting for it's a very good buy and hold strategy, which means that you're buying and you're holding and you're waiting for the scaling update. So I do ultimately believe in that pick for the long term, but the short term, just because it's so speculative, what's going to happen to it, so many people are purchasing it based on speculation, it takes away the consistency of the price. So let's go check that out in the chart though. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. And I might just be full of feelings about it, but like 3 months ago it was 260, then May it was 260, now June it was 229, 226 June later the month, and now we have this big crash out of nowhere. This might be a good time to get it because it looks like it's starting to rise again, but again, like there's a lot of instability here, though it is at an all-time low for the year. And we're going to compile all the data here. We're at like the midpoint actually. Looks like we're still up, but we're near a midpoint. It's not nearly close to the all-time low yet. I just don't like the item that much. Just because of the update. That gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. Like updates come out and it could cause an item to pump. It could cause but when the update comes out and it starts to pump, let's say, but then everybody who's been buying, holding, all of a sudden just dumps everything and causes like a massive crash, causing a big run and causing the item to just freaking rubber band all over the place. I just don't like items that are like subject to that. So that's why I'm just going to put it in the D tier, because it goes against everything that I'm like, it makes my spidey senses, the hair on my neck stand up, etc. And now we have Pure Essence being the king of all kings. Pure Essence, I have traded so much Pure Essence at a profit. Since I started this YouTube channel, man, like it has become like it is the oil of RuneScape. It is the best item hands down for making money, in my opinion, with the least amount of effort possible. On every like only in a situation where you have a lot of accounts, let's say. I don't know. A lot of people my bad. I take it back. So on one hand, it sucks, close cycle, but you can get a lot of inventory always with one account even. But then you have to go to the secondary market. You have to sell it at all bulks to get a fast turnover. So I think it's like 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 sometimes, whatever, depending on how much you can get. You can command a higher price. So like you could rinse the sales pretty fast. It's just not very good selling at 2 on the GE unless you have a large account pool to spread the sales out and increase your chances of filling those orders and stuff. But it is the king. Pure Essence is the crude oil of RuneScape, and as we know in the real world, where there's oil, America follows, because that's what makes America number one, is our oil. Our love for oil, freedom, and oil. If you got oil, we'll give you some freedom type thing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it reigns true for RuneScape too. Like, Pure Essence is the crude oil. It is the base material used to create all of the distillates. You take crude oil and you distill it into ethanol and gasoline and diesel and isopropyl alcohol or whatever else all the other distillates are. I don't remember anymore the big long list back when I was a big nerd about that. But you know, pure essence turns into fire runes, air runes. All runes come from crude oil. But yeah. So there's my list. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys later. See you in the next video. Check out the links down below. See you later.